He doesn't really have a name, just a title. The Ashura. He's a master of a legendary martial art, but he has no clue how he learned it. His own past is a total mystery even to him. But what if the key to unlocking his forgotten identity is also the source of his terrifying power? This is the story of Ohma Tokita and a look into the man behind the monster. Long before he was the Ashura, he was just a nameless kid trying to make it in a lawless, brutal territory known as the Inside. This place was basically a black hole of civilization, and it forges him into the fires of constant violence. With no parents and no name, he fought just to stay alive, stealing from dangerous gangs and pushing himself past every imaginable limit. His life was a chaotic mess of survival, defined by pure grit and a wild, untamed instinct for fighting. That all changed one day. After a run-in with the Yakuza, the boy was cornered by a tough enforcer. In a move of pure desperation, he grabbed the guy and launched them both off a building. The insane display of raw power just so happened to catch the eyes of a lone spectator, a man who would change his life forever. Tokita Nico. Nico saw the boy's raw potential and took him in. He gave the boy a name, Ohma Tokita, and started teaching him a powerful, all-encompassing martial art he had created, the Nico style, for the first time. Ohma had something more to fight for than just survival. He had a master, a purpose, and what felt like the start of a family. This was the moment a boy fighting to live became a warrior living to fight. Years later, Ohma Tokita shows up again, now a man in his late 20s, around 28 years old, and a walking weapon haunted by a broken past. He's cocky, quick to anger, and totally driven by a hunger for battle. It is this hunger that pulls him into the world of the Kengan match's secret, high-stakes fights where corporations bet fortunes on their chosen fighters. He gets scouted by the Nogi group and thrown into this brutal world. But he's not alone. He gets assigned a reluctant caretaker, a 56 years old salaryman named Kazuo Yamashita. Their first meeting is not great. Yamashita, a completely ordinary guy, is horrified by Ohma's violent and detached view of the world. Ohma, meanwhile, just sees Yamashita as a necessary pain. And yet, this mismatched pair becomes the absolute heart of the Kengan Ashura story. Yamashita becomes Ohma's manager, his anchor, and eventually his closest friend. As Ohma starts his Kengan career, his talent is obvious. He tears through tough opponents, and his brutal efficiency earns him the name, the Ashura. But it's also clear that Ohma's mind is its own battlefield. He's dealing with severe amnesia, unable to remember the details of his training or what happened the day his master died. He's guided by broken visions of Nico, a ghost from a past he can't quite piece together, who pushes him to prove that the Nico style is the strongest in the world. The Kengan Annihilation Tournament is the ultimate test for Ohma and his master's style. Here, he goes up against the world's most dangerous fighters, each a master of their own deadly art. His first round match is against the assassin Inaba Uriyo, a wild fighter who uses his own hair as a weapon. It's a fight that forces Ohma to really show off the Nico style's visibility, especially the footwork of the flame kata. But it's his second round fight against Ryan Kerr from the notorious clan of assassins that forces Ohma to unleash his darkest power. Pushed him to the very edge of death, Ohma activates a forbidden technique he calls the advance. In reality, it's the possessing spirit, a dangerous technique taught by another Nico that forces the user's heart to pump blood at an impossible rate. This grants a huge boost in speed and power, but the cost is catastrophic. His skin turns red, his blood vessel boils, and he becomes a berserker, trading technique for pure, overwhelming rage. While he manages to win, the advanced technique racks his body, causing more memory loss, hallucinations, and pushing his heart to the point of failure. This becomes the story of his tournament run. With every win, Ohma gets closer to total collapse. He's not just fighting his opponents, he's fighting his own failing body and crumbling memories, relying on the incredible resilience of the Nico styles for katas, adamantium for hardening, flame for footwork, water for grappling, and his specialty, the redirection kata, for turning an opponent's power back on them. As Ohma claws his way through the tournament, the massive physical and mental strain starts to break down the walls of his amnesia. Bits and pieces of his past come rushing back, revealing the dark truth of his training. The biggest bombshell is the existence of another Tokita Nico, a man who claims to have been a brother in arms to Ohma's master and the one who taught him the deadly advance. This other Nico, better known as Tiger Nico, is a twisted figure who betrayed their shared master, Goho Mukaku, the real creator of the Nico style, while Ohma's Nico taught him the style as a way to live and perfect himself. The Tiger Nico wrapped it, creating dangerous techniques like the possessing spirit and the formless style. He saw his student as nothing more than disposable lab rat in his own quest for power. Ohma learns that his own master died fighting this other Nico as his followers, sacrificing himself to save him. This completely reframes Ohma's mission. His goal to prove the Nico style's strength gets tangled up with a deep need for revenge and a duty to carry on his master's true legacy. He also finds out that he is the tiger's vessel, a title whose full meaning is still unfolded, but it clearly marks him as incredibly important to the Tiger Nico and the Shadowy Worm organization. By the time he reaches the finals against the seemingly unbeatable Kuroki Gensai, Ohma has finally recovered his memories and reached a new level of skill, truly understanding the heart of his master's teaching. The final battle of the Kengan Annihilation Tournament is Ohma Tokita vs Kuroki Gensai. Kuroki, The Devil Lance is a living legend and the final mountain for Ohma to climb. By this point, Ohma is basically a dead man walking. The damage from all his fights and the repeated use of the advance has destroyed his body. His heart is giving out, but his fighting spirit is stronger than ever. He has finally put all the pieces together, regained his memories, and perfected his master's ultimate technique, Demon's Ban, a formless counter that can turn any attack back on the user. The fight is an absolute martial arts masterpiece. Ohma gives Kuroki everything he has, using a brilliant mix of complete Nico style and a controlled version of the advance. He pushes the old master further than anyone thought possible. But in the end, it's not quite enough. Kuroki's lifetime of experience and pure dedication wins out, and Ohma is defeated. After the match, with nothing left to give, Ohma walks away from the arena. He finds a quiet place to sit and sees one last peaceful version of his master, Nico. Having proven his master style, fought until he had nothing left, and found a family in Kazuo Yamashita, Ohma Tokita dies with a smile on his face. It was a beautiful and powerful end for a warrior who lived for the fight. But that wasn't the end. In the sequel series Kengan Omega, it's revealed that Ohma was brought back from the very brink of death thanks to the Kur clan and the genius doctor Hanafusa Hajime. He was given a new, cloned heart and a second chance at life. His return sent shocking wave through the Kengan world and set the stage for a new story, one where a healthier, more mature Ohma has to deal with the threat of the worm and the ongoing mystery of his own cloned origins. Now I gotta tell you guys, while I was getting this video ready and I got to this part, you guys have no idea how much I felt when I now know that Ohma Tokita is going to be in the next phase, Kengan Omega. It was a big news to me. In fact, it was a bit of emotional situation for me simply because I am such a big fan of this show and I'm such a big fan of Ohma Tokita, seeing his story, knowing his story, how he came up and everything that he went through, and knowing how much of character build up and development that he went through during the show. It was such a fantastic outcome to know that he's going to be okay. From a frail kid with no name to the warrior who reached the top of Kengan world, Ohma Tokita's story is one of violent self-discovery. He started out as a man defined by his lost memories and raw power, a true Ashura, a demigod of fighting. Through battle, he reclaimed his past, honored his master, and built bonds that couldn't be broken. His death felt like the perfect end to his story, a warrior's rest that he truly earned. His rebirth, on the other hand, marks a new beginning. He's no longer just a fighter, he's now a mentor, a friend, and a major player in a war that could swallow the world he fought so hard in. If you enjoyed this look into the story of the Ashura, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more breakdowns like this one. Now, I have a question for you guys. Ohma died, having found peace and achieving his ultimate goal. Do you think bringing him back in Kengan Omega made his character arc stronger, Or did it take away from the power of his original ending? Let me know what you think in the comment below. On that note, see you in the next video.